we needed to get through the balls and rings.
Oh. Somebody else read.
Let me see if I can read just a little bit, Father. Okay, John, in taking the woman whom you hold by your hand to be your wife, do you promise to love her? That's the funniest thing I've ever seen. The bride interrupted with a loud whisper. I turned from the bewildered. Here, you want to read it? I turned from the bewildered groom.
Okay, I turned from the bewildered groom to look at her and noticed that she was staring toward her right to the organ side of the front of the sanctuary. And so was the audience. 1,000 eyes focused on a moving target to my left. I knew it was moving, for heads and eyes followed it, turning ever so slightly in slow motion style. The moving target was none other than the assistant florist. She had slipped through the door by the organ and was moving on hands and knees. Praying, let's say, hands and knees behind the choir rail toward the center of the platform where I stood. The dear lady, great with child, thought she was out of sight beneath the rail, but in fact her posterior bobbled in plain view. 6 inches above the choir rail. Let's see. As she crawled along, she carried in each hand a burning candle. To make matters worse, she didn't realize that she was silhouetted, a large moving, pregnant shadow on the wall behind the choir loft. The wedding party experienced the agony of smothered, stifled laughter. Their only release was the flow of hysterical tears while they fought to keep their composure. 2 or 3 of the bride's attendants shook so hard that petals of the flowers in their bouquet fell to the floor. It was a welcome moment for me when the vows were completed and I could say what little piety remained. Now let us bow our heads and close our eyes for a special prayer. My eyes are burning. This was a signal for the soloist to sing the Lord's Prayer. It also gave me a chance to peep during the singing and to figure out what in the world was happening. I did a half turn, looked around, and saw a lighted candle being pushed through the greenery behind me. Take this candle, the persistent florist said. The soloist continued to sing, give us this day our daily bread. Now take this one, the voice behind me said, as a second candle was poked through the greenery. As we forgive those who trespassed against us. I was beginning to catch on, so I was to be the human candelabra. Here I stood with a candle in each hand and my Bible and notes tucked under my arm.
Oh, mercy.
Where's the third candle? I whispered above the sounds of, but deliver us from evil. Between my knees, the florist answered. Just a minute and I'll pass it through to you. That's when the bride lost it. So did several of the attendants. The last notes of the Lord's Prayer were drowned out by the snickers all around me. I couldn't afford such luxury. Somebody had to carry this thing on to conclusion and try to rescue something from it. Candelabra or no candelabra, I determined to do just that as I now tried to jiggle 3 candles, a Bible, and wedding notes. My problem was complicated by the fact that 2 of the candles were burning, and the third one suited Woodbury. It was a challenging dilemma, one that called for creative action in a hurry. And there was nothing in the pastor's manual that addressed this predicament, nor had it ever mentioned us in a seminary class on pastoral responsibilities. I was on my own. I handed one candle to the nearly hysterical bride who was laughing so hard that tears were trickling down her cheeks. I handed the other to the groom who was beginning to question all the reassurances I had passed out freely at the rehearsal. My statements about no problems and will breeze through the service without a hitch and just relax and trust me were beginning to sound hollow. I held the last candle in my hands. They were to light it together from the ones they were each holding. Miraculously, we made it through that part in spite of jerking hands and tears of smothered laughter. Now we had 3 burning candles. In a very soft, reassuring voice, I whispered, "That's fine. Now each of you blow out your candle." Golly, I said to myself, we're going to get through this thing yet. That thought skipped through my mind just before the bride, still out of control, pulled her candle toward her mouth to blow it out, forgetting that she was wearing a nylon veil over her face. Poof! The veil went up in smoke and disintegrated. Fortunately, except for singed eyebrows, the bride was not injured. Through the hole in the charred remains of the veil, she gave me a bewildered look. I had no more reassurances for her, the groom, or anybody. Enough was enough. Disregarding my notes concerning the conclusion of the ceremony, I took all the candles and blew them out myself. Then, peering through the smoke of 3 extinguished candles, I signaled the organist to begin the recessional. Now, just get us out of here quickly. Everything else is a blur, but I still turn pale when prospective brides tell me about this wonderful idea of using a unity candle in the ceremony.
Isn't that horrible?